What's up YouTube, this is the Keyboard Warrior here and we are back with another Tekken 8 video, and today I'm gonna teach you how to deal with Eddy Gordo, the new DLC character. Now, Eddy Gordo could be really annoying. He had always been annoying, like even back in Tekken 3, I remember I used to just mash 3 and 4 and I used to win rounds and my opponent would not have a clue what I'm doing. Even I didn't have a clue of what I was doing, because the character, he's a very smooth flowing character. He transitions into everything, like anything transitions into anything. That is how this character is built. So I know for Tekken 8 there are a lot of newcomers who do not really know how Eddy plays out, so they might have a lot of trouble dealing with him online. So if you are one of them, this video is for you. Make sure you watch it till the end, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm trying to do this for a living here, so please help me out, help this channel grow, alright? So back with the tutorial. It's pretty hard to defend Eddy if you don't know the matchup, and that might probably be because you didn't buy the DLC yet. So either you haven't bought the DLC and you have no way of labbing this character, or you have bought the DLC and you didn't lab him yet. So I'm here to help you both ways, alright? So if you're playing against this character and you have no clue what he's doing, especially when he's doing this, you don't know what's coming up next, right? So if the Eddy that you're facing is doing all this, then you probably might have a hard time guessing what he might do. Let me simplify things for you and help you understand what you need to do when you're facing Eddy, especially when he's like switching stances, when he's like, doing all those crazy stuff, flips and whatnot. Alright? So he has two stances, right? We have the Bananeira, or I don't know how it's called, so I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. So. And you have Negativa. Alright? So Negativa is the one where he just goes low, and Bananeira is the one where he does a handstand. Yeah, so we'll just call it handstand and Negativa. Alright, now you need to understand one thing here. Whenever he goes into this stance, know that he's super unsafe. Okay, you have ample amount of opportunities to poke this dude, because the fastest move that he has is a 4, because the fastest move that he has from this handstand is a 4, which is -3 on block. So if you block it once, you can poke him back. However, you have to be careful about this unblockable throw. Doesn't do enough damage, but it's unblockable at the end. So you have to be careful about that. This is the only time when you have to take a guess, alright? What I normally do is, whenever I see Eddy go into this move, know that there is no low attack from this move, alright? There is no low attack unless he has that charge that you can see up. I'll show you. Okay, so he builds up this charge. I don't know what's it called, Mandinga or something like that. Alright, so now he has access to a low. Other than that, he does not have a low from this stance move. So all you have to do is duck him and wait for him to do a mid. So you're basically baiting him. I would normally duck and bait him into a mid move so I can block. And if he's spamming the grab attack, it's obviously high, so you can duck it and punish him. Alright, so over here, see, this is pokeable. This is pokeable. You can easily poke your way out of this, alright? Another good way of countering this would be a power crush move. If you have a decent power crush move, go ahead. Easy as that. So you need to understand that the reason why I'm talking about the fastest move is because the other ones that he has from this stance are really slow. Like, they have almost 20 frames. His second fastest move would be 17 frames. So you could literally launch this guy, alright, when he's doing this move. Now Eddie also has a power crush from his handstand move, which is like 22 frames on startup and minus 12 on block, so it's punishable and reactable. Now the best way to tackle Eddie is to understand the flowchart that your opponent is using. If he's using too much power crush, you know what counters them? Yeah, low moves. Power crush are weak to low moves and throws, so you probably won't be able to throw Eddie when he is, upside down, but you can definitely use a low attack. So if your opponent is spamming this power crush move, you can use a low, or you can sidestep. Right? See, you can sidestep. What actually can be a problem is this move, which leaves him plus 5 on block. It takes 23 frames for a startup, but it leaves him on plus 5. Now if you try to jab him over here, he might get a counter move on you, because this thing leaves him on Negativa, and there are a lot of very annoying moves that he can do with this stance. Okay, so for instance, say you try to jab him, he can low poke. Try to jab him, he can do this annoying hell sweep. So he has his mix-ups, right? Best thing to do when you find an Eddie doing this quite often is to respect him, or you can use a power crush. So exactly when he's about to do this, hit him with a power crush. I'll show you. Now make sure that you're using a mid power crush, because when he goes into Negativa, anything that is high is gonna whiff, right? So if your character has a mid power crush, you can go ahead and power crush your way out of it. If your character does not have a mid power crush, your option is to sidestep or just respect him. There you go. So you see, it's sidesteppable and you can power crush it. So if you don't have a mid power crush, sidestep. If you have a mid power crush, use it. Okay? So his handstand into 3 is, it tracks a bit on both sides, but it's not exactly homing, but it tracks, alright? So it's difficult to sidestep that, but it leaves him on minus 8, so I don't think any sensible player would go ahead and keep mashing after he does that. You have the advantage because he's on minus 8. Alright? But you can definitely sidewalk or sidestep his handstand 4. So you see, this one tracks a bit, but this one you can sidewalk. So what have we learned so far? Whenever you see Eddie doing that handstand move, you have to understand the matchup and react accordingly. If your opponent loves that unblockable throw, then you just need to duck and punish. Alright, if he's going in for mix-ups, use your mid power crush. Okay, you already know that there are no low attacks from that handstand move unless he has that Mandinga charge. Okay, so you know that he's going to do a mid or a high. All you have to do is defend your mids. Okay, one of the most common setups that these EDDY players use online would be a running 3, and then they go into handstand, and then they do that throw, unblockable throw. Firstly, you need to know that the running attack is sidesteppable. Alright, so you just duck. Duck. Alright, you duck and punish. So you can also poke, but only with a jab, because you have to understand that you're on minus 8. Okay, you can't do anything crazy. See, even if I try to do something, it won't happen because I'm on minus 8, right? And you can also sidestep this. Yeah, very poor running attack though, very easily sidesteppable, very easily sidesteppable. Right? Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about his Negativa stance, which is an even deadlier stance than the handstand. So you have access to a low, couple of lows. One is safe, this one is safe. You have this annoying hell sweep that charges up, gives you a Mandinga charge, and you have a mid, you have this string, yeah, you have an annoying launcher over here that goes like this. This one is minus 18, so yeah. So you basically have a lot of options from Negativa, right? So what do I do? How do I defend against Eddie? So whenever I see them sit down, I crouch. I crouch, making them think that I'm ready for their low attack. Alright? If they do a low, it's gonna get blocked. Now I know that my opponent is smart, okay? And if he sees me crouching down, he's obviously gonna go for a mid. So basically I'm just baiting him. I'm telling him to go mid so that I can block. So whenever he's about to do a move, I just stand up. You know, I just press the back button and it blocks the mid attack. Now mid attacks are normally minus 8 or minus 7, and the one that he has over here is minus 5. So it basically gives you back your turn, right? Because if he's on minus 5, you can jab, you can even do a down forward one. So it basically gives you your turn back, and this is what we need. When we are playing against Eddie, we need to get our turn back or else we are done. Okay, this guy is insane with his mix-ups in Tekken 8. As I said before, if you respect him too much, he's gonna make you pay. So as simple as that. So this string right here, if he's doing this, the second attack is a high. You can duck and you can punish. Okay, I'll show you. You can basically launch him for a full combo. Alright, let's talk about his most annoying move, this hell sweep. If it's not a clean hit, you can't block the second one. If it's a clean hit, you're going in for both. Alright, but at the end of the day, it's a low and a high, so you can just duck. Alright, if he whips the low, just duck. See? And you can obviously punish. You can obviously sidestep. Yeah. Also remember that if you're doing a mid power crush against Eddie's Negativa, and if he's doing that low hell sweep, you're gonna go for a counter it. Okay? So be careful about using a mid power crush. Whenever you see him in the Negativa stance, all you have to do is either respect him or you can bait him into doing his mid moves. Alright? Like I showed. You crouch down, make him think that you're ready for his low so that he goes in for the mid. Okay? So another important thing about Eddie that you all need to know is that some of his launchers are launch punishable, okay? So if you see him do this, and if you block it, launch him. It's minus 18. Alright? If you see him do this from Negativa, it's minus 18 as well. If you block it, launch him. Okay? This one is safe at minus 7. It's a sidestep launcher. This one is a very close range high launcher, but leaves you at neutral. So don't bother punishing this one because you might get counter it. It's safe. Its forward 4 is also a launcher, but this one is minus 12. You can punish him, but it does have some amount of pushback, so it can be considered safe to some extent. Alright. Also, you'll get a lot of Eddies online who would keep spamming this move. Alright, the back 3+4. Even though it's safe on block, it's a power crush and it also is a hit engager, but it's high. So if you are so you have to study your opponent. If he's doing this a lot, just stuck. Okay. So one of the strongest aspects of Eddie's game plan is his neutral. He has mix-ups when you're at neutral, okay? So if you're at this range and you're doing forward 3, this is a low attack that goes into Negativa. Okay? So be careful. So whenever you're at neutral against Eddie, you have to take a guess. He could either go for this low or he could go for this mid launcher. Okay? Or he could go for a running attack, which is also a mid. So you have to understand, okay? This is where your experience comes into play. Not everything could be as easy as it seems, right? So you have to understand. You might have to look at his animation and see what he's about to do. For this you need practice. You know, his neutral game is really good. He has this, he has a wild running move which is crappy, but okay. And he has a mid launcher. Alright, so be careful out there. So how do you deal with Eddys that keep spamming 3 like this one? Yep. So I'm pretty sure you have seen this like 1,000 times online, and even though you know what exactly you need to do, you somehow end up panicking, you have no track of what's going on, and you end up eating the low attack, or you may get launched. I know it's very annoying, so this is how you can deal with it. So he's gonna start off with this, right? He needs to go to the handstand. So when he does this and he hits you, respect, okay? Because he'll be at plus frames. If you block him, go ahead and use your mid power crush. Poke him, mid power crush him, sidestep him. You know your options. I've already explained that before. Let's say he's doing this now. Alright, so these 3 moves that you see, you need to respect that. Okay? Don't poke, jab, do anything. Just respect. Wait for him to go into Negativa. And when he has gone into Negativa, you can go ahead and punish him. Like a down forward 1 maybe, because he's still on -5. Right? You could go for a down forward 1. You can go for a mid crush, but if he does that low attack, you're gonna get countered. So I wouldn't recommend a mid crush, but you can definitely go for a mid poke. Okay? So yeah, I know it's tough to deal with, but you have to practice. Okay? If you're facing a dumb Eddie player, he would probably go for the low every time. So you can block. You can block and launch him. Alright, just block the low attack and launch him. But if you're going against a smart Eddie player, he would probably switch stances over here and go for this. You know, so again, your experience comes into play. If you see him switching stances, go ahead, do your power crush. So you have to keep watching him. You have to keep watching Eddie. See what he is doing. Alright, see which stance he is in, and you have to react accordingly. Okay? That's basically how you have to defend him at the moment. I don't know whether this character is gonna be nerfed, but I can assure you defending him is difficult. It's not that easy. Alright, this is why pro players at the moment, they think that this guy is absolutely broken. But it's obvious he's new. Probably in a month he would probably go down to mid tier once people understand his weaknesses. He's got a lot of them, by the way. So just keep practicing, hit the lab. The lab is your best friend. If you don't have the character, you can obviously come back to this video and watch it again. You know, you can also comment down below whatever you need, and I'll definitely get back to you. So I guess that'll be it for the video. I know it's not everything about Eddie, and it's not possible to explain the entire move list in just one video. I'll probably be doing more guides in the future though. So stick around, hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I go ahead and upload something new. Okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.